Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, getting right into a camera that's been making some serious waves, the Canon EOS R8. Our mission here is to pull out the most important stuff from the reviews, really understand its spot in the market, and figure out who this camera is actually for, because there are some real aha moments here, I think, about how it blends these really high-end features with some surprising compromises, making it maybe that ideal bowl of porridge for a certain kind of creator. So, okay, let's unpack this then. If you look at Canon's full-frame mirrorless cameras, where does the EOS R8 actually fit? It seems like it's placed very deliberately, doesn't it? Right between the lower-cost EOS RP and the much pricier R6 Mark II, both in cost and, well, what it can do. What's your read on that positioning?
Oh, it's pretty smart how Canon's done this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The R8 basically gets its body, its ergonomics from the EOS and RP, so it's small, it's light.
Right, very portable.
Exactly. But, and this is key, that comes the trade-offs. No weather sealing, so you have to be a bit careful.
Okay.
And importantly, no sensor stabilization. IBIS, that physical shifting sensor isn't there.
Ah, okay. That's a big one for some people.
It can be, yeah. But then here's the twist. It pulls its imaging tech, its video capabilities, and critically, its autofocus system straight from the R6 Mark II, the higher-end model.
Right.
So it's this kind of hybrid,
Yeah.
That's what makes it a really solid mid-range performer. A bit of a Frankenstein, but in a good way.
That mix sounds appealing, especially that R6 Mark II autofocus in a smaller body. But then there's the money aspect. The R8 is, what, $7,799 with a kit lens, the 24-50 millimeters zoom?
Yeah, around that mark.
And you compare that to the R6 Mark II, that's $2,499 body only. That's a pretty big difference.
It is, yeah, a significant jump.
So how does that price, plus that specific feature mix you mentioned, define who should be looking at this?
Well, it carves out a very specific niche, I think. It's really ideal for creators who want that full-frame look,
Yeah.
the shallow depth of field, the image quality. But maybe they looked at the EOS RP and found it just too slow for anything moving fast.
Like kids, pets, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Kids playing sports, a dog running around. The RP, well, it struggled there. But then these same creators might look at the R6 Mark II's price and just gulp. It's too much of a stretch.
Okay.
So the R8 slots right in. And that autofocus system, being basically the R6 Mark II system, that's the game changer. Reviews specifically mention it nails shots the RP can't get. It really bridges that gap.
Nail shots the RP can't get. That's a strong claim. So let's dive into those strengths. You mentioned the autofocus people are calling it class-leading, but also 40 frames per second raw capture with the E-shutter. That sounds kind of wild for this price.
It really is wild, yeah. This is where the R8 properly punches above its weight. That class-leading autofocus isn't just hype. It's incredibly smart, very fast, tracks subjects really well.
So it makes capturing difficult shots easier.
Way easier. It puts that ability, that consistency for nailing tricky shots into the hands of people who just couldn't afford the R6 Mark II.
Yeah.
And you pair that with the electronic shutter doing 40 fps raw. That's 40 full-res raw images every second. That's pro-level speed.
Wow.
And it's not just for sports, Think fleeting expressions in portraits. That split second a kid laughs, a bird taking off. You just have a much better chance of getting that moment.
Okay, so stills performance is clearly a big plus. What about video? It seems pretty capable there, too. We're seeing specs like full-width 4K 60 of video, which is great, and 10-bit color. And crucially, I think, for this kind of hybrid shooter, they included both microphone and headphone jacks.
Yes, that's actually a really important detail.
Right. It means you don't need awkward adapters or recorders just to monitor your audio properly. Seems like a nod to serious video use.
Absolutely. And for those videographers, it's not just good video, it's the flexibility. Things like the clean HDMI output 4.2.2 10-bit. That means really rich color data if you're recording externally. Yeah. Better for color grading, avoiding that nasty banding in skies.
Okay.
And having a flat profile like Canon Log 3, that gives you maximum dynamic range to play with in post-production. More control over the final look, stuff you usually pay more for.
Right.
Plus, don't forget the simple things, like the articulating touch LCD. Just makes framing shots, especially if you're filming yourself, so much easier.
Okay, so lots of strengths. Autofocus, speed, solid video features, that full-frame sensor. But like we said, it's a bowl of porridge. Not everything to everyone. Every camera has trade-offs. What are the big compromises with the R8?
You're right. There are definitely compromises. And the biggest one, arguably, is what we touched on earlier. The image sensor isn't stabilized. No IBIS. Which, is described as an unfortunate omission in some reviews.
So what does that mean practically? More blurry shots handheld.
It means you'll need to rely more on lenses that have stabilization built in, or use a tripod, or just keep your shutter speeds higher, especially in low light. It's definitely a factor. And another thing, maybe smaller, but noticeable if you're used to higher-end cameras. No dedicated focus joystick.
Ah, okay, so you're using the touchscreen and the D-pad to move the focus point.
Exactly. Works fine, but maybe not quite as fast or tactile for some.
And what about heat? I saw notes that the camera runs hot at 4K 60. Is that a major issue?
It seems to be something to be aware of, yes. It means while it can shoot that lovely 4K 60, you might hit recording time limits sooner than on a bigger camera with better cooling.
So maybe not ideal for, say, recording a whole hour-long ceremony in 4K 60 straight.
Probably not, no. For shorter clips, mixed shooting, it's likely fine. But for long, continuous takes at that highest setting, you need to manage it. And going back to that RP body, it also means no weather sealing. Just worth remembering if you shoot outdoors a lot in iffy conditions.
Okay, so no IBIS, no joystick, potential heat limits at 4K 60, no weather sealing. Those are the main drawbacks tied to that smaller body and lower price. But despite those, it still sounds like that just right option because the core things, autofocus, image quality, speed, are so strong for the price, it balances out.
That seems to be the consensus, yeah. The compromises are strategic, allowing Canon to deliver those really desirable core features at that price point.
So let's bring it back to the practical. What does this all mean for you, the listener, the creator? What kind of photography, what kind of videography is this R8 really good for?
Well, despite the lack of IBIS, it's still really versatile. It's great for your foundational stuff, portraiture, landscapes, family photos. That full-frame sensor just delivers beautiful results there, but then you stick a decent telephoto lens on it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, because of that amazing autofocus and the crazy burst speed, it becomes a surprisingly good camera for sports and wildlife photos, too.
Ah, interesting. So it can handle action better than you might expect for the price.
Much better, yeah. It really empowers you to tackle a wider range of subjects than the price tag might suggest.
Okay. And for the folks who love the tech specs, the nitty-gritty, let's run through some key numbers. We mentioned the size and weight. It's small and light, just 1 pound, roughly 3.4 by 5.2 by 2.8 inches. Very portable.
Very compact.
It's got that 24MP CMOS full-frame sensor, uses the Canon RF mount, and just a single STXC UHS-2 card slot.
Yep, single slot, but a fast UHS-2 one, which is important for that 40p shooting.
Good point.
Well,
what else stands out spec-wise?
Well, the ISO range is pretty huge, 100 all the way up to 204,800 expanded. So it should be decent in low light, even without IBIS if you manage your settings. The rear screen is that 3.0-inch articulating touchscreen, 1.62 million dots. Very nice.
And the viewfinder.
It's an EVF, electronic viewfinder, 2.4 million dots, 0.7x magnification. Pretty standard, solid performance there. And connectivity is really comprehensive. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, USB-C, which you can use for Power 2. I believe micro HDMI, those essential 3.5mm mic and headphone jacks, and even a 2.5mm remote port. It's got all the modern connections you'd expect.
Okay, got it. So wrapping this up, the Canon EOS R8 really does seem like a very compelling camera, doesn't it? It feels like it cleverly balances that high-end performance, especially autofocus and video chops, with a price that's, well, a lot easier to swallow than the R6 Mark II.
Exactly.
Particularly for those people who felt, I guess, stuck. Like the RP was too basic, but the R6 Mark II was overkill or just too expensive.
Yeah, it hits that sweet spot. It's quite fascinating how it delivers that full-frame look and so many advanced features, but by making really specific, strategic cuts. It's not trying to be everything. It's trying to be the right things for a certain user, which it does make you think, doesn't it? This kind of camera, this blend of high-end tech and, well, ergonomic simplicity.
Yeah.
What does the R8 tell us about how the definition of a mid-range camera is changing, in today's mirrorless world? And how might this kind of strategic feature slicing, picking and choosing features like this, influence future camera designs for all sorts of different creators?
That's some real food for thought. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Canon EOS R8. Lots to consider there. Keep exploring, keep creating, and we'll catch you on the next one.